Thank you very much, Jenny. Great to hear from Larssen before their game. A must-win game for Rogue. Obviously, SK already eliminated, but Rogue can still make it. They need everyone else to lose, and they need to win their 2 remaining games if they are going to make it through. Yet tomorrow as well, they face MCoy, so a bit of a challenge for Rogue overall. They're on the blue side this game. Haven't won on the blue side so far this split. SK haven't won on either side so far this split.
I was going to say, they've only won 1 game, so I feel like
it was on the red side.
You know? Yeah, I mean,
statistically, Rogue will lose and SK will also lose somehow.
Statistical anomalies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, look, either way, if Rogue, look, let's be real, if this is the game where SK pick up the 1 win, I think from Rogue's stake, you haven't shown that you belong in playoffs. So this is really, look, you've got to be able to pick up this one and then hope that you can continue some sort of streak coming into the rest of the week. But at the moment, at least anyway, Rogue starting off, they're going to get rid of Isma's Nidalee. And I imagine we're going to get a Victor ban here as well. I don't think that's something you want to give across to Larssen.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And then we'll see if we fall towards the Ezreals, the Varuses. Those are the kind of stock standard AD carries on the first rotation. There's the Victor, as you say. No real surprises that Larssen gets that taken away from him. Where will Rogue go with B1? It's not going to be Varus. I can promise you that much.
Yeah, I think it'll probably be the Varus. Just picked up for Patrik. It's the flexibility it offers both in the on-hit versus the poke build. It's just super nice and very difficult to win out on that mid-push against the Varus as well. So maybe you want to go back over towards something like the Ezreal here just to answer for it. It's kind of what we've seen as the basics. Yeah. And then I'm kind of looking at maybe taking something like the Jayce away here, because you do just want to try and deny this long-range poke composition to come through, which you've seen a lot of teams opting in for, and Ezreal Jayce is always a relatively strong combo.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. You have a lot of poke, especially as you get towards those 2 items when those Mana Munes are fully stacked up. You can do a lot of work if you're hitting your skill shots. Also, as you say, denies the ability for the Varus and the Jayce just to team up well. We have only seen Jayce once from Rogue so far. It was in Adam's hands. Wukong as well gives you good engage potential, but it looks like Isma might be... he is going to get the Wukong this time. I thought for a second he'd be back on Sejuani duty. Yeah,
I think then on Rogue side, you do take the Jayce, and then it's trying to figure out what the next game plan is. Maybe going towards the Sejuani isn't the end of the world, but you can even opt in towards things like the Xin Zhao. A lot of times, teams will try and get some sort of AP in the jungle here, so you can keep that Jayce flexibility open if you'd like to, but you don't necessarily have to if you're in this position.
You don't. I do think jungle here makes the most sense, though. Making sure that you are locking. You want non-committal engage. Like Sejuani seems to make the most sense. Larssen's doing a lot of talking right now. Actually, it looks like they're going to go towards mid. Just give him the Azir. So Jayce is going top in Adam's hands. Azir will be mid. We have the Varus already. Now, if SK want to pick a mid of their own, they can match the Azir, or they can match the Jayce in the top lane, and then they're always going to have one of those 2 roles banned out. Yeah,
I'm curious if we actually get to see the Reeker Silas, because that was one of the picks back in the day he was renowned for, or even the Rise as well, but I think taking the mid wouldn't be bad. But actually, no, they're just going to go straight towards the Rakan, so definitely different priorities on both sides. If I'm SK, I'm going to start banning away some of those support picks, just to make sure that the Varus is a little bit more available for the Rakan engages, for the Wukong engages, so Poppy makes sense. And the upside, I think it is mid lane bans for me.
Yeah, I think they'll go towards a Galio ban. Reeker's played it twice already. Rakan, Wukong already have that backline threat. Galio alongside that when you have low mobility makes a lot of sense. And better, though, the ban instead. Trying to give Adam a bit of a safer role in that top side.
Yeah, I'm curious, because everything else I think you're fine against, like a Renekton, kind of you're okay into, like any sort of Cassantes and stuff, you're fine at the Jayce. So I think in this sort of situation, like one ban into an Invest isn't the end of the world, but I do think maybe trying to take away something like a Silas or some sort of control mage in the mid lane wouldn't be, even an Orianna, I think against Reeker here wouldn't be the end of the world, just with the combos that are already set up for something like the Ori.
Yeah, I definitely see that. I don't really think that the Jayce should struggle into too many other matchups, especially the stuff that we've seen Gen X pull out. You know, Cassante, Jayce, Rumble, and Jax are his 4 picks so far this split. LeBlanc will be the ban away from Reeker. So Reeker does still have some of those control mages in the mid lane available. The Orianna, the Galio as well, a possibility if you don't want outright burst damage from your mid.
I think the only problem is, as you say, you're kind of lacking some of that DPS if you go for the Galio, which would then put a lot onto Gen X to go for some sort of carry top into the Jayce, which I don't think would be great. So yeah, I think the Orianna works well here, and then you can always go back towards something like the Cassante just to provide that front line, and you got decent burst plus decent DPS here with the Ezreal.
Yeah, it's kind of a press R comp, isn't it? Yeah. That's when we talk to teams, talk about teams and say you're struggling we often say just go back to a press art composition. You know, do something that is simple enough that you can just all use your ultimates at the same time. And SK, without a doubt, have been struggling so far. They are 007. They have a license to not kill in the LEC Winter Split as of yet. The Rell now picked up by Rogue, so they're getting a bit of CC, a bit of engage, which they were lacking. Alongside that, Xin Zhao does a similar job. Gives you that initial engage, and then the Crescent Guard allows you a degree of safety as you go in. What can be a little bit of a lonely journey in as the jungler to start off.
Yeah, big time. Also, I think Malrang's been exceptional at understanding like what is the best way to use the Xin Zhao ultimate, because we've seen plenty of times where he's barely skirted away because he's actually knocked someone back, then audacious charge to use as an escape tool. But won't be looking at it, will be that non-committal engage with Sejuani, which I honestly think is kind of nice here when you've got so many tools that you not necessarily want to play into immediately.
And leaving the top lane pick for last. If there was a Braum on the side of Rogue, you wouldn't want to pick this Ornn, but now the Ornn has a little bit more flexibility. You're not going to be negated by that unbreakable wall for the Braum. There's low mobility carries on the other side as well. The Varus and the Jayce, they will be trying to stand that range, and the Call of the Forge God, one of the longest range engage tools in the game.
I think it also does give you a little bit more of the scaling as well, because Orianna obviously does well. Ezreal can do decent into this sort of situation because there's not an awful lot of tanks on the opposite side, but I think like on-hit Varus and the Azir can just have really great scaling as it goes in towards the late game. So I think having that Ornn just helps out in that regard too. And again, a lot of press ors on the opposite side for SK, so they kind of keep you with the theme here.
Yeah, we'll see if Rogue are able to manage this poke comp, as we also see someone's family in the crowd here, Rob.
Not to embarrass them whatsoever.
It's more to embarrass you than to embarrass them. Look, they came up to me, and the first thing your mother said to me was, "Oh, shame England lost in the rugby yesterday, wasn't it?"
Yeah, that was a lie, because it wasn't a shame.
No, it wasn't a shame. You just wait. You're going to play France, you're going to get clapped. Okay, Dupont's going to poop all over you guys. But for now, League of Legends, everyone, as we jump onto the Rift for the first game of the day. Rogue versus SK starting at the bottom of the table. For SK, a battle for pride, a battle to remove Rogue from the playoffs race. For Rogue, a battle to hold on to the very precipice of a spot in playoffs. Still not in their hands at all. If anyone at 3 wins picks up a win, they will be knocked out, or if both the teams at 3 wins pick up a win, or 3 teams in fact, sorry. Forgot the BDS were there alongside them. Adam, oh, he bathed up towards top and he saw that SK were looking for something. He'll back away immediately.
I think he might know that something is happening, especially when he sees Loopy still going, but just going to be able to back away from this one. I think more or less this is just to get that vision control in that top rush, so it makes it a little bit more difficult for Adam to drop aggro on that, but SK are really chasing him.
They're really getting that vision control, Rob.
Yeah. I mean, they did get it. You can see it up here just on the top half of the screen as they tell us right. There we go. So you can already see they did get the vision control on that push. It makes it just a little bit easier for Genax to manage this lane, but in the grand scheme of things, they're just going to walk it on out.
Yeah, and they will be seen on a ward as they do so. Rogue kept their AD carry down towards the bottom side. They have 1 ward near the Wolves that Isma is about to path into, so Isma will be spotted as he moves through his jungle rotation. Haven't seen the AD carry or support here yet. They're going back towards the top side, it seems, avoiding the 2v2 in bot.
Yeah, because even you can see Varus starting to move in, so I think they're going to try and bully Wukong off of this bottom side. Loopy now in a ward spot in mid, as both top laners not really looking for too much aggression in mid, but yeah, I wasn't sure what the story was for Patrik and Execute. They were seeking out Wukong, but not going to be able to quite find him yet.
I wonder if Genax will just path towards bot side after soaking up some of this mid XP. We saw this a lot Worlds last year, the jungle mid duo in the mid lane when you have the lane swaps, because you want to get a little bit of that XP before it crashes. Now Isma and Loopy are using the fact they have a man advantage on the top side to push Malrang out of his jungle. Malrang can go across and take the blue. He'll be 1 camp down. No, it's even camps because he got a gromp of his own. So assuming he gets all of the camps in SK's blue side quadrant, they'll be on as even between the 2 junglers.
Yeah, I don't know if they can look for the dive here as Rogue though. So Genax should be able to soak enough experience off.
You can always look for a dive, Rob. Whether or not it's an advisable decision is an entirely different thing.
Yeah, I think it's a look don't touch in this situation. Genax does hit level 2, but there is 4 members now, which changes things quite a bit.
No one tanking the tower as of yet. Execute now going with a Shadowing Strike, gets the crash down shield as well, and it's a well-managed dive from Rogue. Patrik will survive this, pops the barrier just to make sure.
Yeah, with all 4 members there, it becomes significantly easier. I wasn't sure what Malrang's plan was. I saw him start off the blue, but I think Rogue doing the correct thing in calling him across. And now Adam getting some nice turret plates here as well, alongside a bit of that assist gold. Going to be in a much better spot than Genax.
Yeah, it's about 30 gold up right now, about even-ish on XP, but he has got that plate just waiting to be smashed on that bot lane tower. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Rahel was just able to get to level 3. Loopy's at 2.5. Rahel is about a full level ahead in terms of XP over Patrik, and Patrik had to burn the barrier. The Ignite was used by Execute, so the 2v2, at least, should be in favor of SK.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem for Genax is that this wave is pushing away, and he knows that Sejuani is still on the bottom side of the map, so Malrang could immediately try and come down to his bottom side, but looking at a potential play in the mid lane as the TP comes through, but Malrang is now in position.
Yeah, Malrang's looking. See if he can find something here. Loopy's coming across as well. Reeker, there's the knock-up. Reeker stunned up with the Shadowing Strike and now has to flash to try and get away. With Isma coming in from the side as well, Rogue will accept the flash out of the Orianna, I think. We'll see Loopy staying around here to make sure this wave can be crashed in. It's going to be tricky though. Larssen low on HP. Reeker doesn't have the best wave clear.
Yeah, there's kind of multiple members just running around the map wherever there's action. You can see Rahel has started to shift down towards mid to help cover as well. And now Isma doesn't realize there's a lot of people there. Loopy will spot out Malrang, but here comes Adam.
Adam moving first out of the bot lane. Loopy spotted by Malrang, locked up with the permafrost. Isma jumps onto Adam. Loopy used the grand entrance to get out. Now the collapse comes in. Reeker still on level 5. Flash Bellows Breath looking for the brittle stun onto Adam. Can't quite find that extra bit of damage. Isma dashing forward once again. Execute falling low. And Isma brings down the staff to get SK on the board.
Yeah, they managed to get themselves on the board, but this is insane. Everyone is just... It's like watching Sunday football when you're like the under-12s team and the ball goes in one direction and the entire team just runs and scrambles around it. And it's basically like you spot out where the jungler is and everyone just seems to be drawn immediately towards it. It's this time just SK who managed to get their foot on the ball first and score that goal.
That is such an... just an apt definition of what's happening in this game. Both the supports are just running around, seeing whatever they can find. Execute still only level 2.5, by the way. Hasn't actually got any more experience since we last talked about him. Reeker doesn't have flash. Execute trying to get experience out of kills. Reeker's going to try and walk his way away from this one, but Larssen, well, the Ignite's ticking. Larssen still finds the final auto attack to get himself his first kill of the game. Yeah,
and Loopy's sitting on top side, but unfortunately for him, Patrik still has that flash and the barrier back up, so it's not going to be any sort of answer. So it's nice in the mid. Jayce, Adam had started up Dragon, or maybe he's clearing out a ward, but looks like they're going to back away and just go towards the Void Grubs that are just spawned in 15 seconds. The junglers, like, are so far, like, Malrang's level 3.
Yeah.
So this is definitely going to be a game of keeping an eye on experience to see who might actually come out on top of some of these plays.
If your jungler in solo queue ever complains about needing to farm, just show them this game. It's like, look, Malrang, he's a professional player. He's only level 3 at 6 minutes. I can take your wolves. I can take the Grom. It's fine. He is struggling a little bit to find his way into this pit right now.
So, some junglers come out of their first clear with 28. Oh my god, no! I was going to say, some junglers come out of their first clear with 28 CS. Malrang is 6 minutes into the game and still has 20, so he's definitely a little slow in the clear, but the fact you stole one, yeah. Fair play, Patrik, yeah.
Patrik helps him out, lands the arrow, gets one of those grubs away. That means the first neutral camp towards the Feats of Strength isn't going to go in SK's favor. Also denies them ever getting 6 grubs, which can be pretty powerful later on in the game. No lane's really getting a huge amount of priority for them right now. You can see Adam is always going to have to push in the bot lane into the Ornn. Larssen generally has push into Reeker, especially since Reeker's flash was burnt early on. He's also hit level 6, so there's the risk of the Emperor's Divide.
Yeah, I think it's just now with 6 being hit kind of across the board for SK, you are under a lot more threat. Like, you're not only looking at the mid lane, it's like Genax has the opportunity to go for these engages. I think when you start to look towards Dragon, I would like to see SK try and put some of that threat with the ultimate trigger now available. But I just don't really think they're in a position to do so. Maybe with the push in top, they can reset and start to put these lanes into the right positions. But an early Infernal Dragon is kind of nice. It can just help out a little bit.
See Isma actually pathing down towards the bottom side, has just hit level 6, and Genex has the 6. Adam doesn't have flash here, so Isma can look for the engage. There's the call of the Forge God. Cyclone goes in, follow up with the knock-up, another Cyclone available to Isma, and already Adam's dead. Well played by SK. Knew that Adam didn't have his flash and just comboed those ultimates perfectly.
Yeah, great. And then even you can see Loopy's reset to open up on mid as well, because just trying to keep his options safe, as he knows that Rahel is going to be pretty fine underneath tower. So nicely done by SK. They're making the play, but also defending on the opposite side.
And it's a 1,000 gold lead for Isma in the jungle. Now has picked up both of SK's kills, building up towards that Trinity Force. Now won't have the ultimate if Rogue do decide to look for something like the Drake in the next couple of moments.
Oh, Loopy spots out that executes here, and I think they're aware that where that Malrang's probably in the area. But I will also say for Isma, like we see him get these leads on things like the Nidalee, this Wukong is going to be way more valuable with some of these early kills. But Loopy, have to be careful. Yeah.
So it used to be that if you Shadowing Striked, you could then immediately follow up with Crash Down and you would always get the CC, but they actually reduced the CC duration of the Shadowing Strike slightly, so you can jump out of it in most cases.
My biggest worry was just Larssen going for the immediate follow-up with the swoop and boop, right? And that's where I was like,
man. Rakan he's the rat of the jungle, okay?
Okay.
the great thing about Rakan, and I say this as a Rakan connoisseur,
I understand, yes.
Is you can do whatever the hell you want. Someone, like, you go into the enemy jungle, no flash, who cares? Grand entrance, oh, they try and follow up. Battle dance to one of your teammates, easy. They try and engage on you, you pop the quickness, sprint away. Just get the hell out of that. You just rat for everything. You rat for vision, you rat for cooldowns. It's the most fun champion to play. The problem is, not very tanky, so if you do miss position, you die a lot of the time. But just don't do that, you know?
Luckily, we have no supports in the league that do that.
I was thinking of something to say that was witty, but it's impossible because there are just too many supports in our league that do that. And it's like, oh yeah, but it's only half the time with Hilly. It's only every now and again that Execute overextends. Loopy only died a ton of times on the earliest last time he played it, you know? Just don't miss position.
You didn't even get to Mickey.
It's the other teams. The other teams are just really good at punishing.
Okay, Gotcha.
That's the thing. SK haven't been bad, they've just been punished really well by everyone else in the league, consistently. In this game,
just hoping they get one.
Yeah.
That's all, just on the board, you know?
It's like set up a GoFundMe for Fnatic. It's like, obviously not with actual money, because that would be match fixing or whatever, but like some sort of emotional GoFundMe for Fnatic tomorrow. If Rogue win this game, it's like, hey,
get a
look guys, come on. Look into your heart, Basil. For the moment, SK do have a lead in this game, so we shouldn't count them out before this one is done. They have a good press R composition. Reeker stepping forward here, looking for a little bit of damage on Execute. The Grubs have spawned as well. Malrang is now level 6. Isma's ultimate back up, though, and has still that level lead over Malrang. How far away is Loopy from 6? He's still a full level. You'd really want him to have the quickness if you are going to look for a fight, but doesn't quite have it yet.
Also, you're kind of looking at a big shift from Rogue up towards this. They're not moving Rahel from SK, though.
Maybe just look to take one away. Looks like it's probably going to be 3 apiece. Now, Isma does have the smite. The Emperor's Divide will only find the clone. Isma jumps across the wall. And he didn't manage to smite the Grub in time. So it will be a full camp over to Rogue. However, they are losing some plates on their bot lane tower.
Yeah, and they're going to invest the TP to try and keep it safe. But honestly, I think you're kind of happy with that as SK. Like, you do get that little bit of extra gold. The 4th Void Grub isn't too crazy in the grand scheme of things. And may even get these quicker resets. They're pinged on towards Dragon, but yeah, I haven't really invested anything from SK, so I think you're in a position that you could actually play for a Dragon fight here.
Really, you've only burnt the flash out of Isma, right, to get out of there. There's no ultimates for Rogue at all, apart from Adam's, which doesn't really count as an ultimate. True Shot Barrage is going to stop Adam's port as well, so with another wave coming in, Rahel can keep this one pushed towards that tower, make sure that Isma has the prio in the bot side to take the first Dragon of the game for SK.
Yeah, so in the grand scheme of things, SK kind of coming in on top, and like Rogue had a lot of the early aggression, but you can see a 1k gold lead starting to open up. They're okay when it comes towards objectives, so I think as long as they're able to find ways to play around some of the strengths, like the Trinity Force now both being hit for Isma and Rahel, they can definitely find ways to fight into this. Even the Unending Despair they picked up for Genax, but trying to force fights is going to be a little bit difficult for the next few minutes. But you can definitely start to shift people around. You can see they're opening up with Ezreal in mid. And as Wukong starts to make his way up towards top side, I think with where Loopy's positioned right now, they can look for some sort of play on Larssen top side, which is why he's disappearing.
I think the intent for Loopy over the next few minutes is just to try and get some flashes out, right?
Yeah,
because
big time, yeah.
it's so hard for the rest of his team to fully engage, especially with Isma not having the flash cyclone as a possibility. If Loopy can burn a couple of flashes here, then when things start to line up later on, when Isma has his flash, it's so much easier to actually get onto that backline.
I'd also say ideally he hits 6 at some point.
Yeah, I mean, at some point that would be beneficial.
Yeah, or for execute as well, either side.
Yeah. Isma's going to put some damage down on his execute, who crashes down, gets the shield and walks away. One of the main pain points for roaming supports in this current year of our Lord, 2025, is...
Thanks for the clarification.
Not, every now and again I forget. No ward XP. It's huge, right? The amount of roaming you do as a support, and you just get all these wards because you're sweeping things out. You get half a level worth of XP, and Loopy would already be 6, but now he has to go into a lane, and then the mid laner gets mad at you for soaking XP from them. And
I was really sad because everyone kind of knew supports were slightly OP, but we were kind of hoping Riot wouldn't find out.
Yes,
and then they figured out the way to hit us, and I was like, oh no.
Do I have to lane?
Yeah. But what if my AD carry just sucks?
Just don't lane, just lane top, man. There was a good thing on the subreddit about how being a support is like being a mother to a crying toddler at the moment. Like, you baby them for the first 3 levels, then you leave them to go to school, and you just go to other places, and then you come back when they're actually useful again and, can provide for you later on in life. Not saying that's the best parenting strategy, but I'm not a father, so who knows?
I can't say anything on parenting strategies when she's right there.
That's true. That's true.
It was wonderful. Don't worry. Yeah.
Just have a tea. It'll be great.
What?
Well, I was trying to... It's what Irish mothers do. I wasn't trying to do an accent. I can't do accents, man. It's what Irish mothers do. You go in, you have some cake. Well, sure.
You have a cuppa.
You have a cuppa, won't you? And then you say, no, I don't need any cake. It's like, no, but you'll have some cake, won't you? Sure. You want actually to say more Irish things. It
was funny because when I went to my granny's, it was always she had a tin of Kit Kats. I would just force feed me Kit Kats the entire time.
The LEC break specialist.
Yes.
Well, Rogue is setting up towards the top side. Execute has managed to get towards level 6. Rogue with 4 members over here. Adam, no TP, but he's backed all the way off the bot lane turret. It looks like first tower will go over to SK. Rogue are going to match it with one of their own, but obviously don't get the feat for the first turret blood. Rahel has got the push in mid right now because Patrik moved his way towards top. Didn't really need to do anything, so he'll just catch the wave as it crashes towards that tier 1. Yeah,
you can see Genax though is going for a play on bot side here with Isma, but I think Isma showed on the wave, so I'm curious if you just look for the almost like immediate reset. You've already got great vision control, and look for the Rift Child play, but it looks like at the moment they're just kind of a bit slow on the reset. I'm not sure if you're about to hit a breakpoint on your item for Malrang, but yeah, Rahel kind of doing a decent job of controlling mid-wave at the moment.
Yeah, he's doing alright, isn't he? Overall, for SK, a relatively solid early game. Rogue, only 1,000 gold behind. It's not the end of the world. You do have 4 grubs, so you're going to get those mites. But Rogue obviously still in contention for one of those playoff spots. That graphic hasn't loaded at all. They are currently sitting at 1 and 6. We have Vitality, Heretics, and BDS above them at 3 and 4. If those 3 teams get to 4 wins, obviously Rogue can't catch up. If Rogue don't get to 3 wins, obviously they can't catch up. So every game's a must-win for Rogue, and they're hoping the teams above them lose for them to have a chance of making it into our final 8.
Yeah, I only just caught Malrang's actually running the domination tree instead of the inspiration tree. So looking at, like, I would imagine... Yeah, actually, I don't know. I was trying to figure out what Malrang would be running in domination. Maybe it's like the dash down? Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, usually you run the inspiration tree for cooldown on your smite, and also then getting the free boots. But he's running domination secondary tree for Malrang, which
you can.
is a boot.
I'm sure someone when you go on Twitch, because we have an extension on Twitch.
Oh,
you
true.
Can just look
Yeah.
Twitch,
Thank
guys.
you.
Hey,
yeah.
You guys are on Twitch right now. You can just open that extension and see exactly what Malrang's runes are. It's great. I know you can run the one where when you dash, you do a little bit of extra damage, and you grim mementos, the Grism
mementos.
Probably.
Yeah,
probably. But I can't tell you for sure right now because I do not have that information. But I'm sure Twitch chat is telling us we're a bunch of fools for not knowing exactly what you would run in Domination Secondary as a Sejuani. Spear of Sojourn now completed for Adam. Only 110 gold lead for him. Nothing really to write home about. Larssen has developed a little bit of a lead for himself in mid, though. 800 gold his advantage. That kill and some plates obviously going over in his favor. So for the moment, Again, a little bit of a slower game. Not really too surprising. Both these teams haven't been known for their explosiveness, but with the second dragon up, SK are trying to, I won't say up the tempo. Loopy. Okay, thank you. I hate it when people walk past roses. There's two there, Loopy.
Yeah.
Loopy,
Yeah.
just order them, man. Just, it's free experience, Loopy. This is how you catch up. Oh, some rogue chance. Malrang jumps into the pit. The smite goes down. Isma gets it. Malrang flashes over the wall. And, yeah, Boar couldn't bear to be in there any longer.
Yeah, I was going to say, Adam's going to get some alone time with this top lane turret, though. I don't think he'll take it fully, but actually, yeah, should have demolished, so going to do some serious damage there to the top lane turret. So I think still, like, you don't get the dragon, not the end of the world, but getting Adam into a position where he can be a bit stronger is going to be kind of nice here. So I don't mind Rogue not being in a position to really go for it. They're kind of just farming up and waiting for side lane pressure to really come into fruition.
Yeah, it looks like some people run cheap shot and ultimate hunter.
I wasn't sure. So in my head was like ultimate hunter,
yeah.
And then my mind went, are you sure ultimate hunter wasn't one of the ones changed? And I had that self-doubt. I was like, thank you. Yeah, it's ultimate hunter, and yes. Sudden impact,
Sudden impact, yeah. So
but
we got one of the two, right?
Yeah. It was just the immediate, like, do you really trust yourself? Because I've just been reading patch notes and I don't trust myself.
I think a lot of the time people forget that if you've been casting for as long as we have, you have 7 to 10 years of just random league changes in your head, right? Like, we could name items that if we saw them, we'd be like, oh yeah, of course, that's, you know, Wuglit's Witch Cap, which you know, wasn't actually really
Heart of Gold.
Heart of Gold, Philo Stone, all of these. Yeah. Oh, what was the Riggel's Lantern? Was the
Riggel's Lantern. Then there's Runeglaive, which I saw earlier on as well. Like, yeah.
But yeah, sometimes it's better just to check, make sure you're correct. You see a tower going down in the top lane for SK, still maintaining about that 1,000 gold lead overall, and the game. Again, like we talked about how, you know, Rogue have a bit of poke, but they do want to scale up. Actually, looks like Patrik has gone Blade of the Ruin King, so it's not that full poke Varus, more of an on-hit, right? For some of the engage. But you already have enough poke from the Jayce and the Azir. You've got quite a long-range comp. And on the other side, SK, well, they don't really have to fight until Rogue fight them, right? Like, they're in an okay position. Towers are even. They've got 2 Drakes. If Rogue want to take a fight at the next Drake, sure. You know, we can press ours. We can try and fight you, but they don't have to force the tempo.
Yeah, I think in the grand scheme of things, you're just kind of happy to keep pushing in the waves and just letting this Jayce do what he wants to. SK, I feel like you do want to try and force some plays, but I think they are struggling quite a bit. Like, Loopy's actually getting good vision, you can see, but the way Rogan was playing is over-forcing with multiple people on this midway, but Loopy's
goes in with the charm. The shockwave as well. Larssen only loses half his health. Does have to burn the flash. There was a TP behind as well as Genex joins the fray, but the Emperor's Divide in a good position already. Isma's down. Genex does get the knock-up. Larsen's fallen as well, as has Execute. Alongside him, Adam's going to join an SK. They force the tempo. They find the fight. It's a triple for Rahel.
That was sick from SK. The vision control from Loopy has been really good in setting that up alongside his team, and they finally get that pick that they wanted to. The TP in behind really set up, and you can see again, as they start to move through here, Loopy flashes on towards the Azir. Reeker gets the damage, the flash is forced, but it's the follow-up here from Isma, and also having Genex come in behind is just absolutely perfect. Genex doesn't quite get the second half because Adam interrupted him with the knockback, but still, the damage was done, the slow was enough. And then Rahel being able to play super aggressive in that. Nice triple kill for him.
Yeah, well timed as well around the Altacan. They will be able to pick it up. Obviously, Voracious in this game. No real surprises there as they have that false life. That will overlap with the next Drake as well, so they can look to force a play before that to make sure that Rogue cannot contest for that Soul Point Dragon. And good positioning overall for SK. Well, I mean, we've joked a little bit about them through the split being 0-7. The last time a team went 0-9 in an LEC split was Astralis in 2022. There have only been 6 teams that have started the LEC in LEC history that have started 0-9. No team during our 9 game splits has ever gone 0-9, which is important as well.
And that's the thing you were reminding me about earlier, is that because we used to have like 18 best of ones, it's teams that have started 0-9. But I think when you get to 0-9, your split's kind of over.
So, Schalke had the Miracle Run split.
Oh, that is true.
That
is true.
0-9 and then still qualified. It may have been.
This was God Gilius, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The God Gilius.
Yeah. Which was a crazy run. But now, obviously, if you go 0-9, your split's over. We've actually only ever had 1 team without a series win through an LEC split, and that was Origin back in 2017, I believe. So, SK looking to be not in that camp, not join Origin in that ignominy. But for the moment, in a good position in this game. 3,000 gold ahead, the Drake up in 20 seconds. As we said, that false life will extend for about a minute after the Drake does spawn. Adam is pushing in the top lane, so SK know they have the advantage right now. They know they've got the numbers. Chain of Corruption going down onto Loopy will chunk him out, but he's still half health. And this is what I'm talking about with ratting on Rakan. Goes forward, eats an ultimate, eats a piercing arrow, still half health, and just dashes back out. Now he can play a little bit further back if he wants, and always has that ability to press the quickness, E on someone, and then dive in for the fight.
Yeah, I just didn't realize that Adam was playing Tryndamere this game, because all he's doing is just sitting in the sideline and taking turrets. And SK, they've sent Reeker back to try and answer, but you invested everything from SK to get that play done, and Adam just immediately answered on the opposite side. So in the grand scheme of things, like, Rogue are still answering. Now they're looking for the pick.
Forge God. Patrik has flash, doesn't use it early. Loopy has the quickness, but no flash of his own. Malrang, Glacial Prison just wide, as both Loopy and Jayce stopped in the bush. Importantly for SK, they did invest a lot towards the bottom side, as you say, but they do get the Drake out of it as well. So it's sole point. Yes, Adam takes a tier 2 in the top side. The gold is even, but SK are now 5 minutes away from having an Ocean Soul.
Yeah, and I think it's not the end of the road, but it's still not an incredible soul when you're up against Rogue, right, as well. So it's still nice to have, but yeah, I think in the situation it's not going to be game-breaking. I still think a lot of this is going to come down to execution around a Barn, maybe in a minute 20, or even the Elder, with the way that this game's going, because there's still a lot of towers standing on the map for either side.
Yeah, thankfully the Elder's only going to be like 35 minutes, 36 minutes into the game. You know, it's not one of those where
an hour long or something like that would be.
Who would be an hour-long Rogue game in the year of our Lord 2025? Robert Price. Ugh. Can I imagine it?
That was Scottish, not Irish. Am I supposed to be offended?
No, look, Rob, not everything is about the Irish, okay? Sometimes I just say...
Yeah.
I say
only rugby
things.
wins are.
Only rugby wins. Okay, sure. How'd the World Cup go?
Don't talk about that.
Okay.
Not in the year of our Lord 2025, we don't talk about it.
SK now setting up a 2-lane push. You can see Jayce answering Larssen down towards the bottom side. Really, he can only contain. He can't push back against the Azir. The range advantage for the Emperor a little bit too long. Rahel, though, in a very strong position now, has that upgraded Mana Mune into the Muramana, into the magnificent Muramana, or whatever it, Masterwork. That's what the Ornn upgrades are called now. They didn't rename them all because now obviously you can Masterwork any item or any of those tier 3 items in the game.
Which is a little sad, because that was kind of a little bit of a flex as a caster, where you could like throw out the name and be like, I know what I'm talking about.
Here's the thing, right? I don't think the majority of our audience would ever Google it. So
that
just
is
make
true.
Up a name.
Well, you already did, Magnificent Mana.
Yeah, but that's not its actual name. I was just using the name that we use for the audience, Rob. I'm sure you know the name of the Muramana Ornn upgrade.
Much more.
Yes, much more mana. The many, much more mana. Yeah.
All of the mana.
So, we can say it works their way. Call to the Forge God coming out. Patrik's going to burn the flash early. Isma still gets the Cyclone down. Patrik now with the barrier. But look at the follow-up. Look at the CC. Loopy gets down with the
Larssen, no!
Larssen goes down as well. Malrang running away. Execute and Adam still full HP. Weren't even able to join the fight at all. Janet's going to chase past the towers here. The tier 2 in the mid lane will fall. SK turn their eyes towards the Baron and perhaps a greater prize in their first win of winter.
And it's actually just SK playing on a very simple to execute composition. And finally we're saying, hey, you can find these picks, you can find the engages, and it's looking great. I mean, this trio of Jayce, Isma, and Loopy have consistently been able to get onto the key targets.
And for Rogue, it's looking pretty diabolical right now.
Yeah.
Remember, if they lose this, they are eliminated from playoffs alongside SK. Kind of poetic justice for SK to be the team to eliminate Rogue. Have another look at that last team fight, because we were wondering, with Patrik having flash, whether SK could get the follow-up, but they managed to do it perfectly.
I was going to say, Patrik is just way too far up. Like, there were 3 different avenues of attack there to get in on top of him, and even if he flashed, there was going to be always another follow-up, and SK found it. And when he's gone, Larssen goes down with him, and... yeah.
Yep. Patrik's had a difficult split in terms of positioning. Loopy's going to be caught here. Doesn't have the flash this time, but once again, Rakan does what he does best and just dashes out, gets the CC onto Malrang. Malrang not really wanting to invest anything more because you don't really know where the rest of SK are. You can see the jump for SK over the last couple of minutes. Now a 6,000 gold lead for them. A minute 20 on the Drake. 2 minutes remain on their Baron buff. They are only pushing through 2 lanes. Larssen has pushed out top, and actually, I saw a ping. He stepped around for a second, but he is going to finish off his recall and make sure he can come back for this base defense.
Yeah, I mean, they should be able to pick off this kind of minion. It'll do some work, but should be fine. So any sort of force now as both waves start to crash, Larssen should be here for, but I don't think SK really want to overcommit here. Like, you've got Dragon, your soul in 50 seconds. The kind of minions can do the work here. Just don't have to get fancy with it.
Don't really need to overcommit. They take the inhibitor tower on the bot side. Janet's going to and bash his way away. Loopy just acting like a nuisance. Inhibitor will fall in the bot lane. SK have a minute 20 remaining on their Baron if they do want to try and get some mid pressure, but the wave's still only at the halfway mark of that lane. So now with the TPs coming back in, it looks like they are going to look for it. Loopy goes in, Shockwave not invested, Larssen dashed away.
Yeah, but also not investing the ultimate from Loopy either. So just kind of realizing, hey, look, if we get something here, cool, we can try and follow up the ultimate, poke Rogue back. But they know that these small little corridors are really where it's treacherous. So just trying to push in the waves, play out a vision, and see if they can make the pick happen.
6 seconds on the Drake, and Rogue have no vision outside of their base apart from in their blue side jungle. I mean, SK could be doing it already for all they know, and that's exactly what they're doing. Isma able to do it by himself. This Wukong has been strong from the start of the game, and with 2 items should be able to get through this one in short notice.
Yeah, and you can see Patrik just trying to tank up this minion wave with execute so that then they can't hit onto the tower and start another turret falling alongside the dragon and that bot lane structure. But at this stage, you're kind of just desperately holding on to anything you can. 20 seconds left in this Red Bull Baron power play means that this would be the last minion wave, but it doesn't look like SK are interested in overforcing on mid.
Looks like Rogue were using that time to funnel Larssen. He's now completed his Rabadon's death cap. If at this point he can't have an impact, it's all done for Rogue in winter. You get a couple of months off before we come back for spring regular season. A couple of months to think about what could have been. SK will be joining them on the bench. Larssen still has the opportunity on his signature Azir to perhaps make a big play.
I think it has to be fairly sizable though, because I just don't really see where the rest of the follow-up is from. Yeah, but it's like, how do you try and reach the key targets? Like, Rahel is already super slippery, and Reeker gets to play a million miles away because he just attaches a ball to Loopy and says, yeah, go. You're like, yeah, be my race car that goes into the middle of everyone and does it for me. So, yeah, you just don't really have to worry about it. So, I don't know how you're supposed to find this engagement.
I think part of the hope is, now with Baron having fallen off, maybe SK overextend. Right, if they go under a tower, they can't quite kill it off, then you can look for something. But as the tower goes down, immediately they go into Patrik again. Does still have the flash, has the barrier, uses both a little too late. We're still caught in the cyclone. Malrang tried to dive in. Larssen hasn't been able to get in the action at all. And all of SK are still full HP. The Ocean Soul at their backs, buffing them up. Rogue 3 left to defend, but it's SK's day, baby. No one beats SK 8 times in a row. Larssen dives in, but dives for it. SK rise above, victorious for once. SK 1-7.
They're on the board, baby. Let's go. I mean, SK finally get themselves a win. But commiserations for Rogue, and unfortunately with that, they will knock themselves out of playoff contention. But, I mean, for SK, they got to be pretty happy they can take down a round of veterans like that.
I mean, they played the comp really well as well. You can vote for one of them in your Kia Player of the Game vote at LEC on X. Jenax, Isma, and Rahel are your options for that game. I think they all had really good games. It was a press R comp. Everyone had to play at a similar level to pop off. I obviously would have given it to Loopy because I love watching Rakan players. Yes. Yeah, so give it to whoever you want. Give it to an SK player. It's the first time we've been able to say that in the last 3 weeks. And they've done a great job. They would take their bow in front of the crowd. Only 4 of them right now. I'm sure Reeker will come across and enjoy them. The crowd goes wild. They deserve it. They deserve it. We're going to go to a short break. There'll be an interview with Jenax and Isma afterwards.
He doesn't like that. Look at him, he's a good boy, but he don't like that.
Maybe we could play some A rounds or something like that. I mean, this is map, right? New towers, new objectives.
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat. Red Bull gives you wings.
Oh.